I am a indie comic creator. I started around 2002 to 2003, and my company Wulfsbane Comics typically covers providing an entertaining story um, that lets you think for yourself, and that also um, talks about humanity and stuff like that. It's pretty much like a thought provoking set of projects that I like to do.
Yeah, very cool. And so, have you been were you in the comic book space before, or was this kind of a new thing? How did that kind of happen?
So I've been into comic books since I was a little kid, but I never really started doing publishing until recent this decade. So, see, sorry. I used to be a real big Marvel fan back in the day, and I did read a little bit of DC. I was mainly a big subscriber to the big two, but
Hmm.
lately I found that there's a lot of cool indie books out there that really do just as good of a job as telling you know a a great story and providing entertainment. So I'm glad to be able to join in that effort as well.
Yeah, for sure. Why don't you give us a rundown of? I see you got this new one. Part of the reason I found you was I saw someone had shared a post about your Pendragon, the Legend Foretold series. Why don't you give us a
Why don't you
rundown
give
of
us a rundown of
some of the things you've created?
Okay. So, my first book is actually titled Wolfsbane, and that's like a sort of a horror mystery title, and it features a teenager who discovers that he's a werewolf, but because teenagers are rash and everything, he ends up accidentally killing someone, and
Hmm.
that leads him to um he gets really guilty about that, and because of that, he chooses to dedicate his life and to use his newfound curse for good. And with Pendragon, the book that's coming out now, it's pretty much all a story about mentorship and being worthy to receive a mantle that you've inherited. And this story came about. I don't know. I think this story has been in the works for a while. With in terms of like me grasping with who I am, who I'm supposed to be, and I think a lot of other people have that kind of realization or thought process as well. But pretty much the story is about um, it's pretty much an Arthurian tale, and it picks up after the death of King Arthur.
Hmm.
And even though he put an end to one of the biggest threats in his era, there's still another threat that needs to be taken out. But since he's not there, his friend and mentor Merlin, or in this case in the book, is called Mervin. Um, he searches throughout time and space to find someone who's worthy enough to pick up the mantle and claim the sword Excalibur.
Hmm.
But it turns out that the only one who's even capable of doing it is basically a nobody from the East Coast in modern day. So um, he has to try. He has to try and train this boy to be the hero that everyone needs him to be, while at the same time, the hero, David Gracie, that's his name. He has to figure out who he is and if he can do it in a way that both lives up to Arthur and to himself.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like how you kind of. It sounds like you pull a lot of inspiration from yourself in the sense that you're trying to explore for yourself, how do I become a better person, how do I live up to who I'm supposed to be. I really like that. I'm similar in my stories. I'm kind of pulling the themes and stuff from exploring my own kind of psyche and who I am, and am I becoming the person I'm supposed to be, all that. So I really appreciate that, actually.
Oh, thank you. Honestly, I think like a lot of the reason why we read comics and even why we read stories and books in general today is due to the whole self-reflection process and us trying to discover new parts of ourselves and trying to see how we can push that out into the world and make it a better place. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like that's part of the reason we tell stories. I'm a big proponent of this, of we tell stories and we explore stories because they inspire us to be better. So like I want to follow heroes that don't remind me of how terrible I am, but actually inspire me to become a better person.
exactly.